Imagine you come home with a brand new copy of Breath of the Wild.
I'm gonna enjoy this.
The trailers that you see for it make it seem like it could be Game of the Year, possibly even Game of the Decade. You get to your desk, turn on your Switch, and boot it up to that first screen. It looks gorgeous. How could they even make a Zelda game look this good? You prepare yourself and begin to load into the game. And once you finish loading it, FNAF jump scare.
You're probably asking yourself, Jules, this is a video about the hit Netflix anime Japan Sinks 2020. What does this analogy about Breath of the Wild and FNAF jump scares have to do with that?
And to that I must ask, what does a plotline about a pot cult have to do with Japan sinking into the ocean? Nothing. It just sort of happened.
Japan Sinks 2020 is an anime produced by Netflix about a massive earthquake that rattled the Japanese archipelago, slowly sinking it into the ocean. This anime is the latest work of Masaki Yuasa, who you likely recognize from Devilman Crybaby, Ping Pong the Animation, and Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken, amongst others. Let me just make one thing very clear here. I fucking love Masaki Yuasa. Now, is he responsible for the stuff I'm going to talk about in this video? Maybe? We won't ever really know for sure, probably, but even as biased as I may be towards Yuasa, I think this wasn't exactly his fault. Yuasa is a director that tends to have a far more surreal approach to his art style and direction, while Japan Sinks really requires this grounded approach that focuses more on a realistic story in order to work the way that it should have. Now, everything from episodes 1 and 2 is just absolutely phenomenal. The gritty storytelling of death and loss amongst chaotic, uncontrollable disaster is so gripping that you're constantly on the edge of your seat anticipating what tragedy may come next. And my god, the soundtrack in these first two episodes, I really like to compare this soundtrack most closely to Liz and the Bluebird, as both seem to use this experimental style that mixes real-world sound into its calming instrumental. Only Liz and the Bluebird is the most wholesome anime ever, and Japan Sinks is, not that. It just makes the soundtrack so unique, and really showed the side of Yuasa that wanted to be more experimental with this otherwise oversaturated genre. Every Netflix-produced anime seems to have an issue or two in not knowing what it's trying to be, but they typically end up making up for it with a solid story with solid character building. Now, is Japan Sinks an anime that managed to still be good despite Netflix's typical issues?
If you clicked on this video of your own free will, I'm pretty sure you already know the answer to this question.
This anime is a goddamn clusterfuck. So much of what made the first two episodes good just gets completely thrown out the door after episode 2, making this anime seems like it had no real direction in the first place. I seriously cannot comprehend what could have gone so horribly wrong in the writing process to make this anime so comically awful following the second episode.
Never in my life have I seen an anime go from a 9 out of 10 to a 4 out of 10 so damn fast. Darling in the Franxx, you can sit down now, honey.
Before we start, I'm just going to say I'm really going to try not to regurgitate what most other AniTubers have been saying about episode 3 onwards. Like, I could talk for a good hour about how the lack of grief shown by our previously shell-shocked characters after the father's death single-handedly ruins the tonal balance of this anime after episode 3. But Trash Taste already talked about it, so I'm shit out of luck. Fuck! But yeah, now that that's all out of the way, episode 3 really seems to muddy up what was a promising story. Think of it like this: what would you do if you lost not just your father, but the figure that was set up as the leader of your survival group from day one? It would completely throw off anything that you were trying to do to survive. Or would you be like this? It isn't just that piece that pisses me off the most here, though. It is the complete inability of the mother to say anything that would even come close to calming her daughter down. She acts like the daughter's being unreasonable in this line of thought and wanting to just acknowledge what just happened and mourn for even a second. Like, look, Yuasa, I get it. You were really trying to show that in a serious life or death situation like this one, you can't just sit around and mourn all day.
But Yuasa, my man, you didn't have to take that so seriously.
This honestly just makes it seem like, as Ayumu says, they're just moving on and trying to forget. It doesn't seem like they're moving on for their father. It just seems like they're moving on because the story has to progress. So this random dude finds them on the side of the road, acts like a drunk dick, and tries to rape Nanami before being absolutely wrecked in the process.
Get f***ed!
They're forced to hike a bit before reaching a point where Ayumu whines about being tired, so they take a break. And so Nanami goes with Ayumu to take a piss, falls over randomly, and dies. Anyways,
No, wait, what? What's up, dude? No, she what? She dies, that's it. Anyways, no, dude, what the fuck? Shouldn't there be more of a lead up, more of a punch to her death? Even a reaction at all? She just dies, man. The fuck else do you want from me? Okay, fine, look. Nanami dies from poison gas, Ayumu cries for a couple seconds afterwards, and then that's it. How are you supposed to just kill off a main character, treat it like it's nothing, and then just expect the audience to accept that? I mean, because we have knockoff PewDiePie over here. I mean, he comes in on a paraglider. How cool is that? Yeah, honestly, who even cares about Nanami anyways? Right.
Well, I get that this death is supposed to come out of left field or whatever. Did they really just have to say f it and move on so quickly? It seems like their attention on Nanami is just gone after a few seconds because of the appearance of Mega Chad over here. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard of the overpowered anime character archetype before. You've seen how characters like Saitama or All Might kick antagonists' ass with just the flick of the wrist. But have you ever seen a character that's overpowered because they literally just have whatever they need at their disposal? Batman and Iron Man type shit. Let me introduce you all to Kite. With Kite, you get everything. Good looks, fat YouTuber sponsorship stacks, a literal military-grade tank boat, and even his own Wi-Fi.
I'm sorry, a tank boat? Yeah, a tank boat. What the f***? What? What do you mean what? How the f*** did he get a tank boat in the middle of Japan sinking, Mount Fuji erupting, and the overall death of millions? The answer, my friend, is simple. Because he's just that much of a fucking Chad. Shit, that's a good point.
But none of these things that I've pointed out to you so far can even come close to the 3 words I'm about to say right here and now. The strangest, most out-of-place arc in any anime or piece of media ever created.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the cult arc.
This has to be the single strangest arc of any show or anime I have ever watched. Period. In the middle of an apocalyptic level world event, what would your first line of thought be? Would it be to A, bunker down and hope that everything blows over? B, get on your feet and get to the safest point possible? Or C, join a cult that is based on marijuana and speaking to the dead, located in the middle of modern day Japan, you know, one of the biggest anti-cannabis countries in all of Asia and the world? That's right, a giant fucking marijuana farm in the middle of a country that has been anti-cannabis for decades, because fuck you, it doesn't need to be explained. Look at our character's high, isn't this great? It really makes you forget that we're in modern day Japan during an apocalyptic world event that will kill millions, you motherfucking idiot. This arc is so fucking weird. Why did anybody think that this was a good plot line? So basically the group is told by the store owner that they just met, who literally tried to kill them, that they should head to this place called Shen City, which is apparently a point in Japan that isn't greatly affected by earthquakes. They arrive there, are shown around, and they find out that the group that lives here is based around the use of cannabis.
Cannabis. In Japan. In 2020. Yeah.
You know what? I'm just gonna leave that because that ain't even the weirdest shit that this arc has to offer. The old man reveals that he wants to go there because he's a morphine addict and he can get his fix there. What the fuck else do you want from me? That's literally all it is. They find out that this group worships this figure called the Mother, who speaks to the dead through her own child. Look, I get it. They wanted a way to say goodbye to their dad who died so suddenly that... What do you mean that plotline is never fulfilled? Okay, well anyways, they just kind of fuck around for a bit. They find out that they have a school and the mom literally sends the kids to school in the middle of all of this chaos and confusion. God damn it, Yuasa, you're hitting way too close to home right now. Ayumu finds out that this paralyzed guy she was taking care of is the doctor who predicted Japan would sink into the ocean and that he was with the cult because...
What do you mean that wasn't explained? Okay, well...
Fine. Anyways, Grandpa goes on a rampage with a bow and arrow, hitting sick fucking 360 no-scopes and kidnaps this kid for a few seconds because... Anyways, the earthquake hits the sanctuary and we find out that this earthquake is affecting this point that was previously established to be resistant to earthquakes because...
Oh, are you fucking kidding me?
As you can see by now, there are a lot of plot holes. There's just so much shit that just seems to go completely unexplained in this arc. It's just aggravating at this point. It's even more annoying because it completely fucks off any reasoning for why they should have met the store owner or that one goofy ass. Because they literally just fucking die here at the end of this arc, having not progressed the story or characters in any way whatsoever.
This entire arc just seems like it only has one purpose. Meeting the scientists, and that's it.
And it really does not help that this is the point in the anime in which the animation quality seems to decline, which I won't bash on because they had severe limitations due to COVID-19, but it is certainly noticeable and worth noting.
At the end of the day, this arc just seems so goofy. It feels out of place. It feels ridiculous in this story that's otherwise grounded by Yuasa's brilliance, and overall, it just doesn't have a place here. Also, I'm sorry in advance, but this shit is too funny.
Oh, you playing Minecraft? I like it, cut G.
For me, Japan Sinks is just an overall disappointment and honestly a lost opportunity. I feel like this could have been so much more and a truly unique take on this genre of films that's just been so oversaturated by mediocre garbage over the past few decades. The political talking points it briefly glosses over for a tiny second at the beginning of episode 2 are very true to our current societal climate of this time.
Very true. Anyways,
The story had potential to be truly gripping and brutal in multiple senses, but it just gets so ruined with all these questions that you end up having, like how the did he get a goddamn tank? He literally just shows up in the nick of time in the middle of the Pacific Ocean with a tank, a motherfucking tank, an actual goddamn tank. But overall, the show just felt like it wasted too much time. I could not fathom what this cult arc had to do with the greater story at hand, nor why they introduced two characters just to kill them off without any major changes just a couple episodes later, nor the fucking rap scene, which
I honestly don't even want to try and talk about it right now.
was Yuasa's vision just flawed? We'll never really know, but overall his attempt to make a grounded story just really seemed to fail here. Yuasa is known for having these over-the-top visuals and storytelling, but I just feel like the story needs to be more grounded. It really needs to have this approach that seems more down to earth in order to work, and Yuasa just isn't that director to complete that job. I guess Japan Sinks will always just be the anime that I look back on and think what could have been. I know that someday down the line when all of these movies are released about 2020, I'll see Japan Sinks and just see a wasted opportunity to relate to the climate of the time.
Yuasa, Japan Sinks, not Netflix, fuck you. I'm sorry, but Japan Sinks, the highest I can give it is a 3 out of 10.